Welcome into the Oklahoman's video studio. I'm Dave Morris, here with a burning question. What did you do this summer? Here to facilitate that conversation, Martinez-Keel from the Oklahoman. She covers education for us. And the Superintendent of Oklahoma City Public Schools. Welcome back into the studio, Sean McDaniel.
It's good to be here. Great to be here.
We have had you on, half a dozen times as you became Superintendent of Oklahoma City Public Schools, and then you addressed various programs for the district. You announced a plan called Pathway to Greatness, which we'll be talking about in depth today. You invited the community to weigh in on the Pathway to Greatness. You announced the Pathway to Greatness, and then over the summer, the implementation of the Pathway to Greatness. Let me dive in right there. How's it going?
What day is it?
It is Thursday and hours away from the start of school.
We are. We're looking at a Monday kickoff of the 1920 school year. And we've been busy all summer long working on the implementation phase of P2G, Pathway to Greatness. And I wish I could show it to you right now, but it's impossible. Just all the work that has been done to get ready for our kids and our teachers and families on Monday. We knew that it was a heavy lift. We knew when we set out down the pathway back in really September, October, that it was going to take some extraordinary measures to pull this off, but we're just about there. We're just about ready to do it.
You know, school starts for Oklahoma City Public Schools on Monday, so as we tape this on Thursday, there's basically just a weekend between here and there, and we'll dive into some details for what parents and students can expect. But sir, this was an ambitious plan, especially to do it from one school year to another.
It was ambitious, yeah, it was ambitious, but we kept coming back to the if not now, when. What we know about Oklahoma City Public Schools and really education in general is lots of people have lots of great ideas. But many times we're talking about those great ideas 6 months later and a year later and 3 years later. And so we believe that while ambitious, we had to do it right now because as we wait, as we kick the can down the road, our kids are missing out. And so we believed we could do it. We're sitting here a weekend away from the start of school, and we are so excited about what our kids and families are going to walk into this next school year.
And Maria, this is, as I mentioned, this is your beat. What are some of the questions you have?
Well, my first one, on top of all this restructuring across the district, you all also unveiled a brand new brand.
Right.
I can show it for the camera right here with a new logo. You have some new slogans, a whole redesign of your website. On top of all this restructuring, why was it important to stamp the district with a whole new image?
That's a great question. Lots of people have lots of plans, and you can roll out a plan and show a document and talk through a plan with people. But we believe that the branding was important because we have to feel differently about ourselves. So lots of great plans have come and gone, but with the branding attaching to Pathway to Greatness, it's not just a new plan, it is we want to feel differently about who we are. Unfortunately, in education in Oklahoma City Public Schools for a long time, there has been some negativity associated with the school district. And so we wanted this to be turning over that new leaf. We wanted to project that this is a new day, that this isn't just another plan, but the framework is the same. We're just going to plug a new plan into the old framework. We wanted to project that we want to feel differently about who we are. We want to tell a different story about Oklahoma City Public Schools.
Right, and Pathway to Greatness is affecting schools and families across the entire district, all across Oklahoma City.
It is.
When you're talking to parents and families and even teachers and students, what do you tell them when they ask, why was all of this change necessary?
You know, I've had lots of opportunities to do just that for about 14 months now. We can boil it down to pieces of what we would call our vision statement. We talk about an equitable, world-class education that prepares kids for life, for right now, for contributing. What we saw was that equity did not exist across our district. And really, equity is an all or nothing to me. You can't say that there's equity over here but not over here, because by its nature, equity means that there's an even level playing field for all kids, that there's access for all kids. So as I talk to parents, I tell them a couple things. Number one, Change is hard, we know that, but through this change, two primary things are always going to happen for your kids. Number one, we're going to take care of them. Our teachers are the best in the world of taking care of kids. And so no matter the change, your kids are going to be taken care of. Number two, we're going to provide and deliver an education for all of our families and all of our kids that will remove obstacles, that will provide resources, and will give kids a chance to reach that crazy thing that we call potential. Too many times kids go through a K-12 system and they never maximize potential. We believe that we're going to be able to give our kids, all of our kids, a chance to maximize potential. So taking care of kids and giving them opportunities that they may not otherwise have had.
Yeah. And like you just said, change is hard.
Woo.
A lot of families are going to be experiencing that on the first day of school.
Right.
What challenges do you foresee families having, especially on that first day?
I think it's a balance or a mix of challenges and aha moments. So the challenges are going to be things like getting on the right bus at the right time. If I'm a mom or a dad or a grandparent that drops a kid off, I want to make sure that I leave time to get in the car rider line to get them in school at the appropriate time. Navigating the school. You know, if I'm a second grader last year, I'm a third grader this year at a new school, there's some anxiety involved because I knew my school last year. I got accustomed to where the cafeteria was, where's the gym, where's my class. Now a new school, particularly for the younger kids. And the good news is that we're going to have loving, caring adults, not just our staff, but volunteers who are going to be there on day one in every school, and we're going to help kids overcome those things. I think just getting adjusted as a family, you know, if I'm a walker last year, I could walk 4 blocks to school, and now I've got to get on a bus and travel 3/4 of a mile. It just changes the dynamic, and so there's a period of adjustment that our families are going to have to go through. But you know, make no mistake, and this is really for our families and our parents, we love your kids and we're going to take care of your kids. And they're going to have a great school year, and they're going to have opportunities that may be brand new to them that are going to be very exciting.
Chatting with Sean McDaniel, he's the superintendent of Oklahoma City Public Schools, about the transition as the pathway to greatness continues in the Oklahoma City Public School District. You mentioned families, but you have your own family to be concerned with, the teachers and the superintendents at the local sites.
Right.
How have you prepared them, and how are they, what tools do they have in their toolkit to deal with students suddenly going down a foreign hallway?
You know, I could spend the rest of today talking about my family, my teacher family, our principals, our support employees. And
principals, the word I meant, not local superintendents.
No,
local principals at the schools.
No, and I got that. They have been phenomenal through this change because they too have gone through this change. I mean, remember that we closed 15 schools. And so you had 15 head principals who felt that same anxiety. What am I going to be doing next year? They've closed my school. Yet, through it all, they have kept kids and families right in front of them. Decisions and keeping emotions in check and asking the right questions at the right time. They have done a phenomenal job getting prepared. So, you know, we believe in our leadership. We believe that the principal sets the tone in the building. And so we have an expectation that as school begins, all of these anxieties that our teachers, that our families, that our kids come with, we've got strong leadership in the building to say, hey, let me take care of you. Come sit down with me. Or let me walk you to your next class. Or let me take this phone call. We have unbelievable principal leadership. So I feel very confident that this is going to be okay. I told somebody this morning, in one way, I kind of wish it was Christmas, so I could look back and everything's okay. Kids were in class, teachers are teaching, and some of that anxiety has settled. On the other hand, I don't want time to fly by so fast, so we'll walk through this together, but we feel very confident as we move into a new school year.
So one of the 15 schools that closed was Putnam Heights Elementary,
Right.
which is a classic neighborhood school.
Right.
That's going to become Putnam Heights Academy, an alternative school taking on the students from the Seaworth Academy. My question here, and I think maybe one of the questions that people in the neighborhood have in the Putnam Heights area, what has the school district done to make sure that this historic elementary school is fit to house an alternative school with older students?
So, just a little of the backstory there. We had fully intended on operating the Seaworth Academy out on 122nd, where they have been for a number of years, and we could not come to terms with the leadership of the Seaworth group, and did not become aware of that until probably 10 days ago. So this was not a plan A, Putnam Heights Academy, perfect location, everything's right. We've had great conversation with the homeowners association and the neighborhood folks, and we're ready to go. This was something that was thrust upon us 10 days ago. Now, with that said, we like the Putnam Heights Academy as a campus for these kids. Gymnasium space is better. They have a great location in that there's easy access for our buses. Remember, maybe you don't know this, but all of the kids in the Putnam Heights Academy will come to school on a bus and then go home on a bus, with few exceptions. What we didn't have an opportunity to really do like we would like to have is engage that neighborhood. We have had some conversation with them. I know there's some anxiety. The Putnam Heights Academy kids are outstanding young people, but they have a number of challenges that are different than a traditional setting or even an alternative setting that we're accustomed to. And so I know there's high anxiety. What I love is that we've been approached by a number from the neighborhood who have said, hey, if these are kids and they're in our neighborhood, we want to be part of the solution. How can we plug in? How can we volunteer? What can we do to help? I had a number of parents and neighborhood folks come to us with that, so we're very, very grateful. We've already had a couple anonymous donors. You know, they don't have a PTA. They haven't had a chance. We don't think about some of these things. Haven't had a chance to put a PTA together, so we've had anonymous donors come forward with in excess of $10,000 already to say, here's some seed money to our principal, Shane Nelson. Use this to help your kids. So we're making the best of it now. We're continuing conversations with the neighborhood. We'll have some hiccups along the way, I'm sure, but we believe this is our best answer for those kids right now.
Another school that closed, Northeast Academy, you've
Right.
heard a lot about this particular
I have.
school as Class and School of Advanced Studies moves into the former Northeast Academy building and it expands its high school area, leaving the middle school at its original location on
Right.
18th and Ellison. This has caused quite an outcry among alumni, parents, people that live over in that Northeast area. A lot of them are proposing a combined name, as you know, such as Northeast Class and SAS. Is that a name that the district has considered? Have you all considered such a name like that?
So a couple things. One, you're probably aware that we have a board member, Charles Henry, and the Northeast Alumni Association, Richard Clark, is the president, and they have filed with the courts. So I'm limited in what I can say, but I want to roll back just a minute to a comment you just made about there being an outcry. There certainly has been an outcry. We have been made well aware that there are a number of people who are not pleased with my communication, and believe you me, I can always do a better job of communicating. But that is balanced. That outcry and the displeasure is balanced by, I'll just give you my personal take, overwhelmingly the positivity that has come with moving Class and high school over to that site. It's coming from all directions, the business community, from neighborhoods, from parents who now have an opportunity, who live in that area, to have a more accessible high school. So yes, there has been negativity. It's unfortunate, and we'll work our way through that process. But we have heard lots and lots and lots of very positive comments from all sectors of our community about opportunities for kids, not just at Class and high school, but also with how we're treating all of our schools. You know, and in this case, your Thelma Parks and your FD Moon and your ML King, schools that over the years have been, and we have acknowledged this, they have been marginalized. They have not been provided equitable services, and we have committed to change that. So this is not just a story about class in high school and how that is being transformed. This is about a district and a board of education who have said enough is enough. Our kids need to be served no matter where they live, and us pouring resources into those schools. So we'll see how it all plays out. It is unfortunate. My hope is that as the adults argue and fight and commiserate and work through this, that we keep our kids first and that we don't do anything that would disrupt or distract kids, particularly on the first day of school. We're hearing protests and people that are going to show up at class in high school on the first day, and I would hope that people will calm down there, because all that does is it gets adult arguments in the way of kids' education, and surely we're all bigger than that.
Yeah, and among the controversy, some people, especially people who might consider protesting on the first day,
Right.
They say this is more than a name to us. This is our history. This is our culture. What's your response when people address the historical aspect of the name of Northeast High School?
Sure, and we, again, in every comment I've made, one of our desires that we've made very public is working with those who are interested in preserving the history, the legacy, acknowledging. And so we've thought about things like we want input so that we can name a street over in that area on that campus after a prominent Northeast graduate or teacher or principal. We want to name the library in class and high school after a prominent Northeast figure, whether it's a graduate or somebody else who has really contributed to the history of Northeast High School. We want to take the first room you walk into the building. We have dedicated it as the Northeast High School Legacy Room. And so we want to fill it up with trophies and pictures and letter jackets and memorabilia so that people can come and visit and read about Northeast High School. So we have great plans that we've rolled out to many of the alumni, and really want to keep moving down that path so that we can preserve and recognize and affirm all that high school has meant over the years to that area of the community. So great plans in place, and you'll see that roll out over the next few weeks.
As we wrap up our conversation here with Sean McDaniel, Superintendent of Oklahoma City Public Schools, we have just a couple minutes left with you. One of the topics Nerea will be covering this year is STEM. That's a focus for Oklahoma City Public Schools this year in the district. Why is that?
Well, we know that our world today is requiring skills and talents from our kids, from the workforce, that really didn't exist 15, 20 years ago. And as a public education institution, we've got to equip our kids. So STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and we also kind of throw arts in there as well. It's this process of taking something that is fun and allowing kids to acquire those skills. So in every elementary school, we have a dedicated STEM lab. We've partnered with the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation. They've adopted us as a district, and so when you walk into any elementary school next Monday, you will see a dedicated space, and it has 3D printers, it will have STEM furniture, it will have coding opportunities for kids as young as kindergarten, and more. So lots of manipulative, so that kids are exposed early and often to what they perceive as fun, but it is that transference of STEM skills. So as they're exposed to it, they can make decisions as they get older, whether they like it or not. Unfortunately, in education, many times we take these things that are important, but we don't present them to our kids until they get into 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And many times then it's too late. And so we want to expose our kids to STEM and everything about it early and often, so that as they get older, they've already been exposed. Now it's exciting. Now I can sign up for an elective in a middle school because I was exposed to it as an elementary kid. Now as I get older, I can begin thinking about the workforce and how can I use this thing I love and translate it into a job or a career or a university opportunity. So we're really, really excited about our direction with STEM.
All right, it's always good to have you in.
It's good to be
I
here.
believe, and this will be my last question, as we're down to seconds left in this interview. I believe you mentioned State of the State is coming up. So let me just ask you this. Your concise answer, sir, what is the state of the state?
Well, State of the Schools is
State of
what
the Schools.
it's an opportunity that we will have next week to, I can't ever remember the name of it. It's changed a couple times. The National Western Cowboy Heritage.
Cowboy Western.
Yeah. We'll be over there in a full house, and I will have members of my executive team, and we're going to do a panel discussion, just talk about Pathway to Greatness, our equity initiative, and lots of other cool things that are going on in the district.
All right, very good. We always appreciate your time, sir.
You're welcome. I always enjoy being here to talk about our school district, the best school district in the state of Oklahoma.
You can learn more about that. Their website, okcps.org. He's Sean McDaniel, Superintendent of Oklahoma City Public Schools. And follow more education coverage every day in the Oklahoman, also online at oklahoman.com. Maria Martinez-Keel, thank you for your time today as well.